Hi, it's Nørgaard. So today I'm back with a new comparison video. It's not really a dupe because both of these products are drugstore priced products. So they're not really duping each other, but they're just so similar that I thought I had to do this video. So here we have the products. So as you can hopefully see, they look super duper identical. They are the same size, they have the same kind of cap, they have the same twisting system. So when you need a new color, you just simply twist it open. So these are like super nostalgic for me. They remind me of the little pens I would have for my schoolwork where you could switch out the colors. So that was kind of originally why I got the Barry M one. And also I wanted to try out something from Barry M. I don't think I've ever tried anything from Barry M before, so I just wanted to try something out. And I thought this was a neat little product. And then I believe I saw on Trendmood that SheGlam came out with almost the exact same thing. So I went ahead and purchased it. And I believe this is also my first product from SheGlam. So I was just really intrigued to try out these brands. And to me it was just really interesting that two brands would come out with such similar products. Really close to each other. I know the SheGlam one came out really recently. And I think the Barry M one also came out recently. I don't think it's an old product anyway. But with that being said, that they do look really similar. There are many differences between the two. First of all, the colors are not dupes. I don't think any color in these is a one-to-one dupe. There are some colors that are definitely similar from the one to the other, but they are not dupes. Also, the texture is not the same. The Barry M one is a lot more emollient and glossy, whereas the SheGlam is matte. I think that also comes down to the fact that the SheGlam one is only advertised for the lips, whereas the Barry M one is advertised for the lips and cheeks. Now I took the liberty of using both for both my cheeks and my lips because I think both products, they just lend themselves to do that. But technically the SheGlam is just for the lips. Also, you get slightly more product with SheGlam. You get 4.5 grams. You only get 3.8 with Barry M. And also the shapes are different. So SheGlam is round, it's like a dome, and Barry M is more pointed, which is kind of funny to me because you would think the pointed one would be the one exclusively for the lips. I don't really have a preference either way because even though this is like dome shaped, it's still so small that it's not a problem to apply it on the lips. And when it comes to packaging, I do prefer SheGlam just a little bit more just because it is a more matte finish and I just like the matted look. But I mean, it's not a big deal. They're both just simple plastic packaging. And just a word of warning, you do have to be careful when you put the lid on these or when you screw them on to each other, because these are just out in the open. They don't go in like with a lipstick where you can get it all the way into the packaging. So when you put the lid on these, you have to be careful that you don't ruin them. And some more info I can tell you about these is that both of these stacks come in 3 different colors. So I got the more neutral ones from each brand, but Barry M also has a more red one and a more purple one, and SheGlam has a more red one and then a more brown, darker neutral one. And even though I chose the more like neutral nude color family from each brand, I think that they still definitely work on the cheeks. I was a little concerned that they would be like too light and too nude to do anything on the cheek. You know, on the cheek you want a little bit of color. But I think both of them worked really well on the cheeks as well as the lips. And finally, for the price, they retail for almost the same price. So the Barry M is £4.99 and the SheGlam is £4.49. So yeah, I think that's all for the information on these products. Now I will show you how they apply on the cheeks and on the lips. And I will do a little wear test. So as always, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And now without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay, let's get started. As you can see, I already have my foundation and concealer on. So I'm ready for my cream blush. I'm going to do SheGlam on my right side and Barry M on my left side. So here are the swatches. We have Barry M on top and SheGlam on the bottom. And as you can see, none of them are like a shade for shade match. Also, SheGlam is only marketed as a lip product, whereas Barry M is for lip and cheeks. So the SheGlam one is more matte, whereas the Barry M one has more creaminess to it. It's more emollient. So even though they are different, I do feel like we see some similarities. So I do think these look pretty similar. These look pretty similar. And then this one over here looks pretty similar to this one up here. So I'm actually going to start out with this color from Barry M and this color from SheGlam. So I'm just going to apply it back here a little bit, kind of like a contour. And the same over here. And let's go ahead and blend it out. So the Berry M side blends nicely, easily, and it leaves a nice little amount of color. So now let's do SheGlam. I can definitely feel this formula is more matte. It takes a little more effort to blend out, but I feel like it's also a bit more pigmented. But the colors are pretty similar. So now let's do this one from Berry M and this one from SheGlam. And I'm going to go more on the apple of the cheek with this one. So let's draw a little heart. And SheGlam. And let's just blend it out. Again, this Berry M one blends super easily. And it leaves a nice little amount of color on the skin. Definitely not too much if you like bright blush. I don't think this is cutting it. Now let's do SheGlam. Again, harder to blend out. You can tell the formula is more matte. But technically this is not a face product. I feel like this one definitely also have more color to it, more pigment. But they do look pretty similar. Okay, just for fun, let's add a third color. I'm going to use this one from Berry M and this one from SheGlam. And I'm going to apply that up here. And then SheGlam. And once again, we blend it out. And I am going to go in with powder after this. So I don't want my blush to be too subtle. So far, so good. Now let's do SheGlam. Again, harder to blend out. The consistency is really even on all of these products. Like all the Berry M ones are really creamy and easily blendable. And all of the SheGlam ones are really nice and matte. So I'm starting to get it blended out. It does blend out, you know. It's not looking streaky or patchy. It just takes a little more effort because it is a matte product. Okay, let me go ahead and blend out my concealer and just set my face. And I will show you what it looks like once it's set. So I'm back. I set my entire face with this translucent powder by Essence. And I did also apply a little bit of this bronzer by Technique, just to sculpt my face around the forehead, the jawline, and underneath the cheeks, both sides. But I think both sides look really good. I don't see much of a difference. The colors are also so similar. It's not noticeable at all that I'm wearing different blush shades on each side. So now I want to use both of these on the lips. I have just been wearing my Essence Lip Plumper. So I'm going to take that off now. And I'm going to do a little bit of MAC Strip Down just around the edge.
It's Fake Kills.
Okay, so with that on, we are ready for the lip colors. And I'm going to use these two neutral colors from each stack. So let's start with Berry M.
Original, puffing on me high grade sipping.
It goes on smoothly, looks good. Now let's do SheGlam.
Girls them a come, them a want, them a take a Batman, me a come in, me a wanna take.
This one also goes on smoothly. I really like it on the lips. And of course, this is definitely more matte. The Berry M has more gloss to it. On the lips, I do prefer SheGlam just because I prefer a more matte formula. And they're not entirely identical. SheGlam is a bit more nude and Berry M is a bit more pink. But it's close enough. If you didn't know, you wouldn't really be able to tell. So that is it for now. It is now 3 o'clock. I will see how it holds up throughout the day. So far, I really like both. I think both have good strong points. It just depends on what you prefer. If you like more matte, then SheGlam is for you. If you like more dewy, then Berry M is for you. So yeah, I'll be back to check in with you later. Okay, so I'm back. It is now a little past 11 and I believe I left off at around 3 o'clock. So the makeup has been on for over 8 hours. And I'm ready to take it off and grab a shower and go to bed. But first we are of course going to see how the makeup is looking after 8 hours of wear. So let's start out with the blush placement. I think that both sides look good. You can definitely still see the blush here on the Berry M side. Still has a nice little pink flush of color. And the same with the SheGlam. I feel like the SheGlam might be a little bit more pigmented, but the difference is very minuscule. They are both definitely still there. I feel like you might also be able to see that the Berry M side is just a little bit more luminous. And I'm not wearing any highlighter. The only thing I put on top of the blush is a translucent powder, and then I did a little contour underneath it. So I think like the little shine you're kind of seeing from the Berry M side is from the cream blush, whereas SheGlam looks a bit more matte. But again, the difference is really minimal. Now for the lips, I am pretty impressed with how the lip is still looking. I have not touched up the lips at all. I ate dinner, I've been drinking water, I've been talking, and the lip still looks pretty nice. If you get really up close and personal, you can see a few dry patches on the Berry M side. My lips are a little bit dry, and the Berry M one has slightly accentuated that, which is really interesting because the SheGlam is the more matte of the two. So you would think that that would be the side where the dryness was emphasized. But it's actually on the Berry M side. But it's not bad unless you're like right up close to my lips. You don't notice it. Like from out here you can't even tell. And for these two products to have been on my lips all day without looking absolutely ridiculous or completely wearing off is actually pretty impressive. Usually after eating dinner, if I'm just using a regular lipstick, it will be gone. But here both products are actually holding on. So I am actually pretty impressed with that. So let me just give you my final thoughts on these two products and let me tell you which one I prefer. So I think they are super similar and I do actually really like both of them. I will definitely continue to use both of them. But I think I slightly prefer the SheGlam. I like the packaging of the SheGlam a little bit more and I like the matte finish a little bit more. The matte formula is just a bit more up my alley. And as I said, I think the SheGlam just performed as a little bit like slightly better on the lips. And of course the SheGlam is also slightly cheaper. So that's the one I would go for. But if you like a more emollient texture, I think the Berry M one is pretty good. It definitely has not like completely faded away. I was a little bit worried that it might just like disappear by the end of the night. But it's still there, leaving me with a nice little flush. And it's also still there on the lips. So both of these are pretty good. But if I had to choose one, I would choose SheGlam. And that is all. I am tired. I'm ready to get this makeup off and take a shower and go to bed. So that's what I'm gonna do. Let me know down below what you thought of this video. And don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And that's it. So I will see you in the next video. So take care and bye bye.
Girls, them a come, them a whining on the nigga. I steady sipping on my liquor. Then I tell her me she give her never trust another nigga. I so she give me.